Holy Spirit would say, leaders of the people and elders, if we are being examined today about the good deed done to a cripple, namely by what means he was saved, then all of you and all the people of Israel should know that it was in the name of Jesus Christ, the Nazarene, whom you crucified, whom God raised from the dead. In his name, this man stands before you. He is the cornerstone rejected by you, the builders, which has become the cornerstone. There is no salvation through anyone else, nor is there any other name under heaven given to the human race by which we are to be saved. The word of the Lord.
The reason the world does not know us is that it did not know him. Beloved, we are God's children now. What we shall be has not yet been revealed. We do know that when it is revealed, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. The word of the Lord.
I am the good shepherd, Jesus says, I know mine, and mine know me. Because of this, I give my life for my sheep.
Thank you, Father, for officiating our Mass today in celebration of milestones, 500-year milestones in the history of the Filipino people. 500 years of Christianity in the Philippines, 500 years of our involvement in the first circumnavigation of the world, and 500 years of our victory in Mactan. These are all intertwined events with common denominators, such as the people who would later become Filipinos, because certainly there was no Philippines back then, and Mr. Ferdinand Magellan. Now, I'm not sure if the principal motivation of Mr. Magellan was to propagate the faith. He was, after all, an adventurer, and he set sail in search of wealth, of course. There are those who bankrolled his voyage in expectation of something in exchange. Discovery of, say, gold, spices, or whatever they may be. But even if that was not his primary motivation, he brought Christianity to the shores of the Philippines as soon as he set foot on the shores of some of our islands. And from that, we have become Christians as well. 500 years of faith and belief in Jesus Christ and God. And we truly are fortunate to be the only predominantly Christian nation in the Far East. Now, as to our participation in the first circumnavigation of the world, I think that was purely by accident. We did not choose to be part of it. Mr. Magellan set sail and went through some perilous journey to reach our shores. Even from a very young age, we have been taught that we have been discovered by Mr. Magellan, and that he was the discoverer of the Philippines. I would dispute that. There were people who were there ahead of him. Maybe not in the sense that they have been so bold as to declare half of the world as belonging to them, as the Portuguese and the Spanish divided the world back then. But certainly, people of Indian descent were already trading with our natives in the Philippines back then. People of Chinese descent were already trading with our people back then. In fact, there were believers of Islam who were already in the Philippines back then. So that was purely from a European viewpoint that we were discovered. We have always been there. We just haven't been named as Filipinos. He claimed the Philippines for God and King, and that is how we became Philippines. Now, as to his misadventure on the islands of on the shores of Mactan, Mr. Magellan got himself involved in local politics, and that proved to be fatal to him. He had befriended a chieftain who was in conflict with a rather brash and headstrong leader named Lapu-Lapu. But as we have been taught also that it was Lapu-Lapu who slew Mr. Magellan, no. It's not like in the movies where the principal actor confronts the villain face to face. They got off their boats, heavily laden with armor, with the belief that guns, cannons, and the armor would, make them victorious. But waiting in the island were natives who had bows and arrows and by the thousands, and that's what got them. But having said that, we are truly fortunate that we are part of that history, that Mr. Magellan, whether by design or accident, actually came to our shores, converted our natives to Christianity, and made the part of that circumnavigation as part of our history. In fact, he did not circumnavigate the world, right? Father Mactan? It was Sebastian Elcano who continued the voyage, took over command of Victoria once he was slain in Mactan, onward to Seville. So the saga of Mr. Magellan ended on the shore of Mactan, but the circumnavigation was completed by his assistant, Mr. Sebastian Elcano. Again, it put the spotlight on the islands that later would become known as the Philippines. This year we celebrate that. We are, like I said, we are fortunate to be part of history. We are grateful and thankful that we have been a part of I would say, the history of Christianity in the world, as well as being victorious in Mactan, which shows the resolve of our people in resisting foreign influence and foreign invasion. We are, I would say, a very friendly people, and even if Magellan came to the Philippines back then, there were natives who welcomed him.
Thank you so much for attending our 500th year anniversary of the Philippine victory in the Battle of Mactan, and also the Philippine participation in the circumnavigation of the world. It's a very momentous occasion for us as Filipinos, because it's actually a part of our identity, and it's from where our heritage. It's a very important part. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's
Alright.
Consul Marco Lopez. And ngayon naman po, message naman po para from the Filipino-American Chamber of Commerce here in Greater Houston. We have Ms. Nonya Frias.
Good afternoon, and this is a milestone. We just celebrated a Mass to commemorate the 500 years of Christianity in the Philippines. And it was sponsored by the Philippine Consulate here in Houston. I would like to take this opportunity to invite all of you to join us to our trade mission this July 22 to 26 to Guadalajara, Mexico. We are actually visiting Barra de Navidad to commemorate another milestone in Philippine history, and this is the Manila-Acapulco Galleon Trade. Please get in touch with us. Go to our website at www.faccgh.org for more details. Thank you and see you.
Okay po sa ating mga kababayan here in Texas and the whole United States of America, sa lahat po ng ating mga Filipino-Americans around the globe. Maraming salamat po sa pagsusubaybay sa aming programa. And once again, today we are covering the quincentennial commemorations in the Philippines, hosted by our Philippine Consulate General here in Houston. Once again, this is CHONA Day of USAPANG FIL-AM. Thank you for watching. Mabuhay.